Hey, Monkees fans. Welcome to another Podcast Valley Sunday. I am one of your hosts, Chris Paco.
And I'm the other host, Jeff Cameron.
How's it going, Jeff?
Really good. How about you, Paco?
Doing good. We have to apologize for last week to our fan because we missed a week, but we're back now, baby. So don't worry. Here we are. Ready to go.
We were shooting the Podcast Valley Sunday movie and went over a bit. So yeah, we're back.
Yeah, it's called Foot. All right, so here we are. We're at episode 36, Monkee Mare, directed by Alex Singer, written by our new buddy, Jack Winter.
Dominating this season.
He really is. And it originally aired on October 2nd, 1967.
Feels like yesterday.
It really does. So it opens up, the boys are getting ready to eat dinner, and a woman shows up and takes back her chairs. And then a guy takes away their plates, and then another woman shows up, and she picks up the table on her back, and she's a little old woman.
Aww.
And she asks Mickey to help her, but he ends up dropping the table, and he breaks it. And Mike asks what everybody's doing, and he's told that they've all been evicted because their place is going to be a parking lot, and that they've already started blasting. The old man says that where his welcome sign is, there's going to be a sign that says 75 cents an hour. And Peter says that's terrible.
Even downtown, it's only 50.
And then Mike tells them that they can't be evicted because it breaks every zoning law and there's nothing to worry about. And then there's an explosion.
Boom!
That leads us to our intro. So when we come back, we show up to a countrified version of the theme. And Mike walks into an office and he says that private citizen Michael Nesmith is there to see the mayor because he wants to talk to him about the parking lot that's going up and going to put people out of their homes. She directs him to a door that says complaints, and he walks through it, and he's outside on the street. And he comes back in, and she sends him through another door, and he walks right into a brick wall, and he gets hit on the head with a big hammer after that. I wonder how much they pay that person to stand in the brick closet to smash someone on the head.
Like they're giving Jack Winter a lot of free reign to make these visual gags. They're like building sets around him now.
Yeah.
So you'll see a lot more of this coming up.
Yeah. So then he comes in and now he's hopping mad.
I'm about up to here with this stuff, and if I don't get some satisfaction, I'm going to take this whole thing and I'm going to dump it in the opposing party's lap.
And the mayor shows up and Mike tells him that he wants to talk to him about the construction of a parking lot. And the mayor tells him that he doesn't hire construction workers. And Mike tries to tell him what he wants, but the mayor goes off and says that when the first Americans came here, they moved the Indians. So throwing people out of their homes is the American way. And I was kind of like, oof.
It's played for laughs, but it's a hard truth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the mayor shakes Mike's hand and he sends him on his way. But not without the anti-Me Too move of pinching his blonde secretary on the cheek and saying, hello, dear. She goes through a lot in this. And so then there's a quick shot of Mike out on the street. Then back inside the mayor's office, the evil realtor, I thought his name was Mr. Second Bush, but it's Zeckin Bush.
Second Bush?
Yeah, I didn't understand. I was like, okay, whatever.
Like George W.?
Yeah. So this is Monty Landis. He's talking to the mayor. He says it's going to circle the city with parking lots, so no one can come into the city without paying for it. And the mayor says that they'll have to tear down museums and schools and hospitals, but Zeckenbush doesn't care. And the mayor, he just kind of goes along with it. At first, he's like, no, we can't do that. He's like, no, I'm going to do it. He's like, great idea, Zeckenbush. Back at the pad, Mike is telling Davey that he tried to talk to the mayor, but he didn't really listen to him. And the old guy from earlier walks by. And he says,
"That's all right, Mike. You can't fight City Hall."
And Mike asks where all these people came from. And Davey tells him that he said they could stay there until they find new places to live. Like it's all their neighbors who've already been evicted. I guess they're like last one on the block. Like they haven't gotten to them yet. And Mike says it's cool as long as they don't get in the way. And then a lady brings in her clothes hanger and sets it up in the living room. It pretty much hits Mike in the face with it. So later, Mike is saying that they have to do something about these parking lots because they can't have a dictatorial mayor running the city. And because it's fair to the people.
Because we got to get all these people out of our house.
Mickey says that the only way to do that is to get rid of the mayor. And you know how to do that, right? He tells Mike that he's perfect to run for mayor because he's the only one who has a hat to throw into the ring.
Where's your hat? Where's my hat? I don't like it.
So essentially, Mike is chosen because he has a hat on, and he's going to run for mayor to make everything cool. I sometimes feel that's how all politicians get into it. They happen to be the guy standing there, or woman standing there. So Mickey puts a hat on that says press, and he calls the mayor and tells him that he's Mike's campaign manager, and that they'll be seeing him at the polls on Thursday. And when he hangs up the phone, he does like a funny eyebrow raising thing. That's like a very Mickey move. It made me laugh. The mayor has no idea what's going on, but asks Zeckenbush what he thinks. And he asks if Mike has a chance. Zeckenbush tells him that everyone in the city has a chance if he owns him.
You own him?
No, you own me.
Then he hasn't got a chance.
Mickey says that they need an image for their candidate. Mike is dressed up like George Washington, admitting he cut down the cherry tree. And then Davey says that that's too honest and no one would believe him as a mayor. And then Mike protests that being too honest isn't a bad thing. He does it as Mike, like, squeaky voice.
What do you mean too honest? How can you be too?
Then Mike is Abraham Lincoln, but Davey says he doesn't have the looks, and Mickey suggests that they should shave him. And then Mike is Lyndon B. Johnson.
So until this crisis is over, I will hunker down like a jackass in a hailstorm, duck, duck, duck.
And Davey says that no politician would ever say something like that. And then Mike pulls his own ear off. He has these big ears. And then Mike is just good old Mike Nesmith, and the boys think he's perfect. And Mickey announces Mike is the candidate and launches his campaign. And Peter lifts like a big bottle of champagne and attempts to smash it on Mike's head. Like he's a ship.
The SS, Mike Nesmith. Ah!
And then they all do a horrible countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 6, 2, 6, 5!
And it also launches us into Monkey's Romp #1.
Yeah.
No Time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great romp song, pretty much. It hits all the romp marks. There's like shots of big conventions, the Monkees on stage, the boys are pulling Mike on a float with Mike Nesmith for mayor signs. And I guess I love those Mike Nesmith for mayor signs. I think we should contact Video Ranch and say, you should sell these Mike Nesmith for mayor signs, like reprint them and sell them and sign them. I think it'd be a hit. I'd get a Mike Nesmith
with or
for mayor
without
sign.
the beard drawn on.
If you pay for the Zoom call, Mike might draw the beard on himself and send it to you. And so you see Mickey, he's walking with a girl, has a poster over her butt. The real mayor and Zeckenbush are throwing darts at the posters. Mike's judging a beauty contest, and when he chooses the winner, the other two girls beat him up. Mickey's helping an old lady across the street, and then when she gets there, she beats him up. Which at first I was like, what? He helped her out. Why is she beating him up? But we'll find out in a moment, because Davey kisses a baby, and then the mother just grabs Davey and starts making out with him. Zeckenbush kisses the secretary, who pushes him away because he's a super creep. And then a man saves Davey, and he gives him the poster, and he takes off. Zeckenbush, then we see Zeckenbush is paying off the two beauty queens that beat up Mike. He pays off the old lady that beat up Mickey. And Mike he's shaking everybody's hand. He gets surrounded by people, and he's shaking all these guys' hands. And then this enormous dude crushes his hand. And we see Zeckenbush paying him off for crushing his hand. Peter robs Davey in front of a bunch of bystanders, and Mike saves him. But then all the bystanders pull out guns, and they hold Mike up.
Gun, gun, gun.
There they are. Peter kisses a baby in a carriage. He ends up falling into the carriage and disappears. And then Mike kisses a baby, but then it smacks him in the face, and it's just like a small dude in a carriage. And then that's the end of the romp right there.
Like this romp functions more like a silent movie than many of the romps do.
It's a romptage.
I think this is what Jack Winter is into.
Yeah.
It's a romptage, indeed. And a headquarters tune. At first I thought it felt like we'd mostly heard Pac and J tunes this season, but obviously, for Pete's sake at the end of the show. And I think they've played Randy Scout's Get like a show or two ago. Or did we pull it from the hat? One or the other. I don't remember. Back to our show today.
Yeah. So the boys show up back at the pad, and it's being ransacked, even though like all those people live there now. Like, why didn't anybody do anything to stop anything from happening?
Try to stop them, but they said they were redecorating.
Oh,
It's
man.
like, really? Come on, man. The monkeys let you in their house and let people steal everything. And so they drew mustaches on all of Mike's posters and just generally trashed the place. And Mike thinks it was some of the mayor's goons.
I'll bet it was political sabotage.
And Mike thinks they did it because they have something to hide. And if they do, then the monkeys will be able to find it. And so they split to get to the bottom of it.
The sabotage thing. This might have been around the time Captain Kirk, William Shatner, on the Star Trek TV show, which is shot around the same time. He pronounces it sabotage.
Really?
he just insists that's how he's going to say it, and that's what the choice he makes, sabotage.
I picked up some indication they are planning to sabotage the Enterprise.
Sabotage.
So they show up at City Hall, and Davey says that it's 3 PM, and he'd expect to find someone working. But Mickey says they might be on their coffee break.
How long is the coffee break?
From 9 to 5.
Oh.
The boys start snooping, and Peter finds a skeleton in the closet. Classic Winter. And Mickey finds a key in the skeleton's pocket that will open the file. And he says, "How do you know it'll open the file?"
It's a skeleton key.
Even more classic Winter. He can't help himself. They open the file, and Davey finds the plans to build the parking lots around the city. Mike says that they're going to tear down a stadium to build a parking lot. And Mickey says they're going to tear down a hospital to build a parking lot. And Peter says, here's the kicker.
They're going to tear down a parking lot to build a parking lot. How did you guys know?
Well, that's the oldest joke in the world.
Actually, I read in an interview with Joni Mitchell that this is where she got the idea for her song about tearing things down and building parking lots.
Wow. Incredible.
It was,
Back into the interviews, are you? Amazing.
it was originally called Monkee Mare as a wink wink, but she didn't think it fit perfectly. Anyway, so they want to take a picture of the file so they have the evidence. And so Peter sets up like an old-timey Back to the Future 3 type camera.
Yeah, that's what they called them.
That's a brand name, but it's like Kleenex. And he snaps a picture of the other guys holding the files, and they go to leave, but Zeckenbush and the mayor are coming back, so they all scatter. Zeckenbush tells the mayor that he'll get the file out of there if it'll make him feel better, and the mayor's super happy about it. And Zeckenbush goes to the closet, and Mickey's in the coat that the skeleton was in. And he looks through Mickey's pockets for the key, but Davey has it. And Davey's also in the closet there, so he just like pokes Zeckenbush with the key. And he hands it to him, and Zeckenbush thanks Mickey for it. And so Zeckenbush and the mayor, they find the camera all set up there. And they suddenly know that it's the monkeys and that they've seen the file, which is like pretty smart on their part to put that all together that quickly.
Well, they got the Mickey in the suit thing past them.
Yeah, but then while
the
they're
Mickey in the coat.
Yeah, and while they're having this part being like, oh, those the monkeys, we got to get that. They're all walking right past them to the front of the
Right
door
there.
and just going out the door. So these guys, they don't always use their smarts in the right spot. Now the boys are in a dark room developing the pictures that Peter took. And he only took one picture, and it's of the filing cabinet instead of the file.
Oh.
And then Peter says, well, when you're the photographer, you get to choose what to take pictures of. And I got to admit, at this point, I was almost like angry at Peter. I was just like, really? This is, you're going to, like, well, if you're the photographer, he takes the highfalutin road on it. It's one of the few times like, Peter, come on, man. Come on. You're better than this. So at the mayor's office, Zeckenbush is saying that there's no sign of the evidence yet and that Nesmith is playing a waiting game. So see, they don't have the picture of the file, but Zeckenbush and the mayor think they do. So it's like, as long as they think they do, then they do,
Perfect.
So the secretary says that she's looked into every aspect of Mike's life and she's found nothing.
He's had a nothing life. No arrests, no firings. He even brushes his teeth 3 times a day.
Zeckenbush says to resort to Plan W. So now, it's getting serious.
Oh, yeah.
So at the pad, Davey says that they don't have any evidence, so they should just drop out of the race now. And Peter suggests that they have a $100 a plate dinner to raise money. And Mike asks them, who do they know that could afford a $100 a plate dinner?
Well, maybe we could mark it down to 98 cents.
Mickey shows up and pours out a ton of mail. And Peter rips one open, and turns out he rips a check for $100 in half.
It's 2 halves of a $100 check. It's a check for $200.
It's 2 checks for $50.
And it turns out that Mike has made an impact with the people of the city, and they've donated a bunch of money. And then Mickey says that it's 2 days to the election, so they can blow the whole town wide open, and then there's stock footage of a building collapsing. And Mike says, well, that's what's already happening, and they're trying to do the opposite. And Mickey says, well, they can blow the whole city wide shut. And then it's reverse stock footage of the building going back up. Mickey pays the newspaper to run a story on Mike, and Peter pays a pilot to skywrite something about Mike so big that the sun is just the dot in the eye of Nesmith. Davey is like the director at a TV station, and they're all just throwing money at these people. And essentially, this is almost like a musicless romp. Like,
kind of, yeah.
It has that kind of
could
vibe.
have been a tune on this because you could tell they're just paying people to do shit.
Yeah,
and they could have just been, and they are throwing the Skrilla around like he's the Monkees. They're broke the rest of the time, all the time.
Yeah.
They don't even keep a little bit for new shirts.
They're honorable. They're just like, nope, this isn't for that. It's almost like Brewster's Millions. Like they have to spend this money.
They have to spend the money.
Yeah. So back at the pad, Zeckenbush shows up and he tells Mike that all the money he got was from people who work for Zeckenbush. So he's funded Mike's entire campaign, essentially. And he tells Mike to quit while he can. And if he doesn't, he's going to get Mike and his friends.
He can't do a thing like that.
He might be able to.
No, he couldn't. He
No, he can't.
couldn't do that.
All right, he's a phony.
But how much money does this guy have to be throwing around?
Well, he owns so many people, I guess, right? He's one of those high-rolling,
Man, oh man.
yeah, behind the scenes.
You can fund your rivals thing just to blackmail them later.
Yeah, that's something else.
Wild.
So maybe it's a write-off or something. So back at the TV station, Mike is about to go on TV, and the boys are telling him to think about all the people back at the pad that he needs to help and to not be nervous. But then stop putting so much pressure on him. Like they're telling him all these
For
things.
real.
You got to do it for this. You got to do it. You got to do it. But don't freak out though. Don't put the pressure on him because he's only running for mayor because he's the one with the hat. Like he doesn't have a history in this. Like if Mickey was wearing a hat, he would have been the mayor. So the music gets all sad and sappy, like the Monkee sad music. And then Mike starts his speech, and Zeckenbush and the mayor walk in, and Mike gives a really great speech at this point. I gotta say, Jack Winter really came through here with his Mike speech, and he name drops the people back at the pad, and he said all he really wanted to do was help these people who didn't have a voice, and he got sucked up in the forces that he was trying to conquer, and he comes clean about the funds, and he says that he got them from an improper source. And the mayor walks into the shot just as Mike is going to get out of the race. And the mayor tells Mike that he's right. And he promises Mike and everyone in the city that he's going to make it better and cleaner place to live. And Zeckenbush just kind of skulks out. And the mayor shakes Mike's hand. And then everybody just like bounces around them. So back at the pad, the boys say goodbye to all the people who are living there. And Mike says that the mayor isn't going to put the parking lot over their houses. But where are they going to put it? It doesn't matter anymore because it's not their problem. And then a wrecking ball comes through the roof, and Mickey might go over what the actual line was supposed to be.
It's a watch fob for the Jolly Green Giant.
Oh, that's very funny.
Very funny. A what? A what was funny?
A watch
You just
fob
want me
for
to
a
say
giant.
that. Okay. It's a watch fob for a giant.
The funny one, like Mickey says a line, and Mike's like, no, it says it's this. So I don't know if that's real or if that was scripted. I think it's probably real.
Maybe.
I hope so.
It's hard to say.
And then that's the end of that part of the show, like the story portion of the show. Mm-hmm. But we go into the Rainbow Room, and the band plays Pleasant Valley Sunday for us, and it is pretty
Delightful.
awesome. It's great.
It's so much fun.
It's interesting that Mickey has his hi-hat in between his two toms, like directly in front of him, not off to the side like most drummers do.
I don't know. I think a lot of this was like we've seen the Rainbow Room a lot. But they literally spent an afternoon there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
August 2nd, 1967, to be exact. And, like, we kind of pictured maybe they were there for, like, a weekend or something. No, they were, like, in there, probably on tour in Chicago, at a place called the Fred Niles Film Studios. And they banged out a bunch of songs. They did a whole bunch of, like, little romp-type moves. Just, like, shot just a bunch of stuff to use in the show. And like not just the musical sequences, and they did a lot of stuff in that day at that studio.
Yeah, maybe that's the day when they were interviewing Mickey at the end, and he was just totally spent. That's probably the end of that day. And he's just like, dude, we've been here for 12 hours. Like,
meanwhile, the day before they shot this episode was Emmy night, and they picked up the 2 Emmys. That's why Mickey's got his Emmy hair.
I wondered why his hair looked weird.
Yeah. So that's
oh man,
things were doing all right for the Monkees around this time.
So the night before they just won the Emmys, definitely went out to parties afterwards. And the next day they've got to spend an entire day doing this stuff. Like, I guess at least it wasn't a real episode. Like, they just got to play the music and kind of hang out, but still, that's get the day off after the Emmys, maybe. That's what I'd say anyway. And so in this performance, Mickey on drums, Davey on bass, Mike on guitar, Peter on keyboards. And Peter has some, like, I've noticed it before, like some sort of like tattoo thing on the back of one of his hands.
Yeah, he's got like henna drawn on his hands or something.
Yeah. And I wish they one thing in this edit, I wish they showed more of them playing things, because there's a lot of close-up of hands and then wide shot of the band. So I think for a lot of people, it's like, well, see right here, that's someone else. You know what I mean? Like, the people wouldn't believe they played their own thing.
I think it
gave, because when I was watching, I was like, it makes it look, it's not like they intentionally made it look like someone else was playing the close-up parts, which was weird. But no, it was great performance. And I've got to say, that's the end of the episode. That's the whole thing ends there. There's no interview. There's no anything else.
Yep.
And my overall thoughts of this episode, I really like this episode. It's a bit different because they've got like the neighbors coming in and Mike with the speech at the end. And I like this episode a lot. So it's a good one, Monkee Mare. What do you feel?
I do like it a lot. Tunes are good, obviously. And it was fun. A lot of the visual gags and like that classic silent movie type of comedy. And a good mix of good times. It's funny. And they got Mike to make the speech. No one else in the band could probably, pull off the speech like that.
I don't know. Yeah. Not in the same way, at least. The winter punny jokes were not like, there wasn't too many of them. We're just like, oh my God, stop, please. And I think that was good as well. The ones they had were good. Like the skeleton in the closet, they didn't mention it at first. You just kind of saw it. And I was like, ooh, they're just going to kind of slide this in. Like, you have to put together there's skeletons in the closet. But then eventually they did say it. But that also helped this episode. Yeah. Winter finding his footing on the slippery slopes. Good overall episode, I'd have to say.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, was there guns in it? Yep. Just in that one scene, but they made sure.
Yeah, they had to get him in there.
Yeah, and there was a lot of guns in just the one scene. Like 8 people had a gun. So, highlight of the show, I'm not too sure. I like when Mickey does the eyebrow raise. I always pick something silly and little like that, but it made me laugh when I saw it. What about yourself?
I don't know. I like the whole romp. The no time romp was really cool, and just a good time and tune. And I'd go with that. Yeah. Yeah,
and
it was a romp, and it moved the story along, and it was like a montage romp you do.
Yeah,
like you do.
I enjoy that romps are now becoming more story centric and not pushing Mike in a bed in the middle of the street for some reason.
And then some semi-related stock footage.
Yeah. Was there a Monkees ruse? Mickey being the press guy, pretending to be the press campaign manager, I guess?
Kind of, yeah. But he was kind of doing the job. And the Monkees themselves got rused by they got all the money from, so that was...
Improper sources?
A bummer, yeah.
Yeah.
So they got rused.
Best musical moment, I like Pleasant Valley Sunday myself. But No Time was good to see because, it's a good song.
It's true. Yeah, tacking just a straight up music video that doesn't have any episode content it's fun to see. And like we said, we dig the Rainbow Room stuff.
Yeah, it's a great room. Classic Monkees moments. Some of the shots from this are in the opening credits.
Yes.
Peter looking disgruntled and a couple other things. But yeah, that's in here. Things that wouldn't fly in 2021. Probably Mayer and Zeckenbush treating the secretary the way they do, unless they're going to make that a point of the episode. And also maybe saying throwing people out of their homes is the American way. I don't know. It might fly though, because now it's more poignant.
It would come up in a much more serious show.
Yeah, exactly. A very special Monkees. So some did you knows here. The mayor, when he meets Mike Nesmith, he calls him Nesmeyer, Neswarsh, and Nesbaum. LBJ, Lyndon B. Johnson, he did say, sometimes it's like being a jackass in a hailstorm. You just have to hunker down and take it. And this was, from what I read, I feel like we've already said this though, but this was the last show they shot before going on tour, before recording Pisces, and before going on summer break. It was filmed in June '67, and it's obviously not in the order they're shown, but this was Monty Landis's last shoot with the Monkees.
Oh, wow!
Which is interesting because it seems like he's out throughout the entire second season.
They've mixed them up here.
Yeah, it's like you finish this whole TV series, there's TV season, making records. And now you got to go out on tour, you got to record another record, and you got to get ready for the next season of a TV show. It's like, these are like Disney kids, the Monkees. Like, they worked these guys.
Yeah, man. It is weird, like the non-linear nature of the show, how it's not like a connected series where things happen. Like,
yeah.
Peter's got a lizard now, and like has a lizard throughout the rest of the show. There's none of that. So it was weird, probably, for them to be making an episode, and the episodes are all a different order later.
Yeah.
It's a little disorienting to go along with everything else.
But yeah, it is interesting. Yeah, like nobody like grows over the 2 seasons of the show. It's not like, oh, this is, Mike isn't scared of heights anymore or something like that. It's just the way it is.
Well, what happened to Schneider? Has he been on this? I don't think we've seen Mr. Schneider this season.
Yeah, no, he might have. I don't know. He got his own place. I
don't know. That's really weird.
He used his popularity from the first season to branch out, and he's got his own place in the hills, I think.
Oh, I got another did you know? At some point during the rough draft process, this episode was known as Mickey for Mayor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I don't know. I think maybe at some point while they were working it out, like Mickey was definitely better suited for the carnival barker campaign manager type thing, and Mike was better suited to be a more serious, grown-up type guy.
That's a good point. Yeah, when you mentioned, I thought that they were going to change Mike's name to Mickey and just go with the exact same episode. I was like, that is a twist. They were really mixing it up in this last show.
Oh man! Oh, and also, we see the boys in the gray suits for the 11th and final time in this episode.
I wondered about those suits because I was surprised to see them again. I was like, oh, look at that! But I guess it's not meant to be. I wonder where those suits are now.
Great question. They might be just hanging on a rack somewhere in
the back lot at Universal.
Yeah. Who knows, man?
Maybe they popped up on like an episode of Just Shoot Me or something. And so then that's the entire episode. Monkee Mayor, like the performance and everything. Boom.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think this is a favorite with a lot of people. It has a pretty high rating on IMDb.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, interestingly. Oh, I hear something.
Hey, what's that sound?
And there it is. It is about that time again. Everybody's favorite second half of the show. The Randomatic Countdown, Wool Hat of Mystery.
Great to be back in the hat.
Indeed.
Feels like it's been a while.
It does.
I guess it sort of has.
Yeah. I don't remember who picks first, I gotta admit. I think it's you.
I don't know.
I think you go.
Let me give me the hat.
All right. So
give me the hat, Paco.
Reach on in there.
Give me the hat. Ooh, Midnight Train.
All right, Midnight Train.
Midnight train, rambling all night long. I'm gambling, losing all my money when it really is funny, huh? Ba-da-dum. Midnight train, rambling all night long. I'm gambling, tell you what, maybe well you better be moving on.
Midnight Train.
A Ramblin'
By the Monkees, written by Mickey Dolenz, it appears.
Nice.
So he brought some of his own material to the project, which is cool. And man, the Monkees with these trains.
They love trains. And it's on Changes, and it's got that Changes bass. Like, again, that really great sounding bass.
It's delightful, yes. And some serious picking.
Yeah, it's a very interesting song. Like, very, countrified picking with no Nesmith in sight.
For real.
But yeah, no, it's a good song. I don't know if I'd reach for it a lot because it's one of those. It's kind of grating just because of what it is. Just super fast and super like, whew, okay, cool. I'm not like, oh, we're lighting the candles for dinner. Oh, I've got a song called Midnight Train.
But I feel like I think it's among the tunes that made its way onto the reruns of the show in the 70s.
Oh, perhaps.
But it's got to, like, you can pop that over any old romptage. And probably with some of the train stock footage they got handy. They probably straight up replaced Clarksville with Midnight Train at some point in the show.
They're both about trains.
Yeah. Who's going to notice the difference?
There is a demo version of it as well that came out on the Headquarters special
so you had to kick it around for quite some time.
Midnight train, rambling all night long. I'm a gambling, losing all my money, well, it really ain't so funny, hon. Midnight train, rambling all night long. I'm a gambling, tell you what, baby, well, it better be moving on.
I think this is a tune that might grow on us like some of the other ones have.
I think the demo version with just Mickey and the acoustic guitar with the Mickey harmonies, that's really interesting and cool.
Mm-hmm. It's really it's good that he got a chance to put on the record. I wonder why they didn't end up doing it didn't finish it up during the Headquarters sessions.
Yeah,
we'll have to ask him next time we talk to him.
Definitely, that'll be the first question.
See, this is a couple things we got to ask the boys if we ever talk to them again. I want to ask them about Fast Eddie Ho.
Yep.
We got to ask him about Midnight Train. How come the guys didn't play it? It probably something came down to, look, it's either Midnight Train or Rainy Scouts Get Mick. Which one are we doing? we don't have a ton of time here, and this seems like a fast, complicated, difficult song to play.
Yeah, exactly. So where do you think Midnight Train should go in the ongoing Randomatic Countdown?
Great question, Paco. Great question. I mean, it's decent. I wouldn't go so far to say it's a jelly. I'd listen to it. I'm just looking. I'd put it between the Justice You and I and The Kind of Girl I Could Love, right around number 64. It's in the Bye Bye Baby Bye Bye neighborhood.
Yeah, that could work. So,
let's pop it in there.
In between them?
Yeah.
So at number 64, we've got Midnight Train. Ramblin'.
See, that's a fun tune. Did you ever change his tape? I don't think you had the changes on tape ever, did you?
No.
So you got to pick us out a song, Paco.
All right. Here I go. Reaching in for song number 2 of the day. We got some jams. We got some jellies. We got some marmalades. Let's see what I got here. Since You Went Away.
Ooh. This is Peter's other song on Pool It.
Okay, so Since You Went Away is on Pool It, one of Peter's songs, as we've said.
Monkee's 10th studio album. Finally got up to that nice round number.
Yeah.
Good on them.
It's usually a record once you like, oh, it's from Pool It. It's like, oh, no. But this song is a pretty good song. I got to say, I enjoy this song.
I dig it too. It's written by Michael Levine or Michael Levine. I'm not sure. But he's trained as a violinist, been referred to as the Jimi Hendrix of the violin. And he's performed with Joe Jackson, Lenny Kravitz, Marianne Faithfull, among others. And also, you won't believe this, he wrote the Kit Kat Gimme a Break jingle.
Really?
Yeah. So the man knows his way around a hook, let's say.
I hope he got some points on that song, didn't just take like $100. Every time it plays, I hope it's giving his bank account less of a break. That's amazing, though. So for this song, I've got to say, it's almost in the same area that we were just in. I would put it probably right after P.O. Box 9847 at number 68.
Yeah, sounds about right. Let's put it up there.
And also, as we checked out the demo version of this from Peter Tork and the New Monks, is worth checking out too, I would say.
Definitely.
The plants have grown, the dog came home, the bills are all getting paid. Things are much better since you went away.
It's very similar, but it's also got a lot of cool differences in it. And one thing that's fun, it's definitely a Peter song. It's like a tongue-in-cheek song. You know, the girl doesn't like him, and it's like things have gotten better since you went away. When I first saw the title, I was like, oh, is this a Davy song? I thought it was going to be like a pulpy Davy tune, but it was not.
But now it's very humorous. It's perfect for Peter. Almost like a Weird Al original type of humor to it.
I was going to say that same thing.
So yeah, since you went away from Poulet, currently clocking number 68, with a bullet from Poulet. Pass that hat back over this way when you get a chance, Paco.
All right,
I need me a tune.
Let's wrap this up.
Oh yes, tremendous. So don't take Poulet out of the player just yet, Paco. I'd go the whole wide world.
I'd go the whole wide world. I'd go the whole wide world just to find her. I'd go the whole wide world. I'd go the whole wide world to find out where they hide her.
Okay, so I'd go the whole wide world from Poulet. Another Poulet, 2 Poulets in a row.
It's very cool. I dig that tune. And it was originally done by Reckless Eric. That's Reckless with a W. An original Stiff Records artist. Stiff Records was also home to Elvis Costello and Devo and stuff back in the day. And this song has been covered 17 times.
Wow.
And yes, it's and that's not including the version that appears and Will Ferrell sings it in Stranger Than Fiction.
That's like 17.5 then.
Yeah, for real. So it's a cool little tune, 2 chords. You can tell it's pretty easy to cover. I think if you know an E and an A, you're in business when it comes to this tune. And it's a bit samey, feels a bit long, but we dig it. We dig it.
Yeah.
I dig it anyway. What do you think, Pago?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. It's not one of my favorite tunes off Poulet, but not one of my least favorite tunes off Poulet either.
Ouch.
So for me, it's like, it's a very like, it's a, I don't mind it at all, but it wouldn't be a song I reach for myself personally.
Okay. But yeah, I think part of this whole experience, we've discovered some solid tunes on lesser known records, including this one off of Poulet.
Definitely.
Both of today's Poulet songs and Midnight Train. You know, we did got some deep cuts today, Paco.
I was gonna say, yeah, they weren't like blow your mind awesome hits, but there was none where I was just like, ugh.
They're all solid tunes.
Yeah. I wonder if hopefully in the hat that's kind of what we've whittled it down to. I know there must be some more like dudaroos, but I think right now we might just be, you know, we're either in the top ranks or we're just in like the perfect like skimmy parts.
Yeah, bud. So where are you popping this one in the list?
You pulled it, man. You gotta. It's all on you.
It is. I would put this above Oklahoma Backroom Dancer, but below If I Ever Get to Saginaw Again. Yeah, number 62, we got Whole Wide World, sung by Mickey off of Poulet. And that's it for this edition of the Random Attic Countdown featuring the Wool Hat of Mystery.
Okay, so everything in the 60s today.
Yeah, man.
It all popped in the 60s. And just so everybody knows, we're up to 110 songs in this countdown.
Man, I think we're down to, there's got to be about 40 left.
That is crazy.
Speaking of good times, Paco, I heard you had a good time on a different podcast.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. I was a guest podcaster or whatever on a podcast called Still Not Ready. It is about the Canadian teen, I don't know, drama or sitcom. Dramedy from the 1990s called Ready or Not, hosted by our good friend Amy Gonu.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a good time. It was really fun to be in a podcast and not like running the ship. You know what I mean? Like we do is just like,
true. Yes. Yeah.
Amy had it all going and I watched the episodes and I just kind of piped in, but it was well run. It was a lot of fun and you can check that out. My episode's up there. It's, it was about a garage band and they're falling in love with the singer of this garage band. The Liz is his name.
Perfect.
It was awesome. Check it out. And I said we should try to get some guests on our podcast. I think in second season here.
Yeah, clock's ticking.
Yeah, we got to do some ratings bonanzas. So I'll see what Joe Rogan's doing.
Yeah, you got him on your phone somewhere, right?
I think I'm on his phone, but still, we can see.
Anyway.
But yes, thank you for checking out Podcast Valley Sunday. We always dig it. This was a fun episode.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll be back next time with some new songs, with a new episode, and more good times. So, from me, Paco.
And me, Jeff.
Have yourselves a monkey's little evening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey Monkees fans, with everything going on with social distancing, Podcast Valley Sunday will be on every 2 weeks. We hope you're staying safe, we hope you're staying at home, and we hope that you're listening to the Monkees and obviously Podcast Valley Sunday. You can check us out on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. And please, rate us and leave a message. We'd love to hear from you. But, as always, be gentle with us. We're very sensitive.